Stoker wearing a Stoker wearing a tracksuit, which is certainly unusual. But both he and Don Revie looking so relaxed. Opposed each other in a cup final away back in 1955 when Don Revie was in the Manchester City side, beaten by Bob Stokoe's Newcastle. And now the crowd see them. Standing at 5'4.5", and Bobby Kerr, 5'4". Sunderland, vast underdogs here at Wembley. Leeds, smooth, confident and efficient. But who can say Sunderland have no right to be here? They've beaten Manchester City in one of the previous rounds. They overwhelmed Arsenal in the semi-finals, and Leeds United, with Billy Bremner there, know that whatever the forecasters may say, it certainly is going to be easy out there this afternoon for them. Teams will be presented to His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, who is President of the Football Association. Here comes His Royal Highness with officials from the Football Association. On the right of the picture, Sir Andrew Stephen, the chairman of the Football Association. We had a brief moment of sunshine, and now the clouds have gone in, have come out again, and now the national anthem. And it'll be the Leeds United first to be presented to His Royal Highness. Billy Bremner with David Harvey, the goalkeeper, Paul Reaney, and Johnny Giles. Norman Hunter always on the move, jigging around, tremendous competitor. And the rain now beginning to come down heavily here at Wembley. Said that they thought it might dry up a little bit, although we had the most punishing rain first thing this morning. His Royal Highness and Don Revie, I think, finding it a little difficult to hear each other in this enormous din here at Wembley. And even the rain isn't going to dampen the enthusiasm of the fantastic Sunderland supporters. Here's Bobby Kerr. Richie Pitt being presented. Richie Pitt, of course, who had a spell on loan with Arsenal, and then found in a matter of weeks he was helping to knock them out of the FA Cup in the semi-final. Sunderland, their morale is fantastically high. They don't see themselves as underdogs. Ron Guthrie, the fullback, and Ian Porterfield. Ian Porterfield, who was telling me earlier this week when I saw them at a match at Orient on Monday night, make no mistake about it, we're going to win at Wembley on Saturday. This is a firm conviction in their minds. Bob Stokoe being presented. And the crowd enjoyed that moment again for Bob Stokoe. Bobby Kerr, the Sunderland skipper, twice he's broken a leg in his career. So you can just imagine what this moment is for Bobby Kerr. Player who runs and runs and runs is Kerr. And really is an inspiration of the side by his own example. Bob Stokoe wishing him well at the very last. I suppose Bob realises now that all the inspiration that he's been able to give them and all the coaching and all the tactics, now it's down to the players themselves. Well, let's just check up on the players for this 1973 Cup final. Leeds, in fact, are going to follow their usual custom of giving a salute to the crowd, and it's the first time I've seen that in a Wembley final. Well, a few boos and predictable ones at that from the Sunderland end. So the teams then for the Cup final today: Sunderland, Montgomery in goal, Malone, Guthrie, young Mickey Horswell, that destroyer in the middle of the field, and he creates as well, Watson, the big defender, Pitt, Kerr, the captain, Hughes, who was magnificent in the semi-final, Vic Hallam, Ian Porterfield, and Tuart, the man who'll take any penalties that may come Sunderland's way today. The substitute is Young. Leeds: Harvey, Reaney, Cherry, Billy Bremner, Madeley, Norman Hunter, Peter Lorimer, Clark, who scored the winning goal, of course, in the Cup final last year, Jones, Giles, Gray, and their substitute, Terry Yorath. 10 full internationals in that Leeds United side. So now we get a toss-up between Bobby Kerr and Billy Bremner. And soon all the speculation will be over. And soon the action will really begin in earnest. Looks as though they're changing over, which means that Leeds United will be defending the goal to our left. The man who scored the first goal for Sunderland against Arsenal, Vic Hallam. Rather a checkered career he's had. He was at Charlton with Bob Stokoe, incidentally, when he was manager there. And here's Billy Hughes, the man who scored the other goal for Sunderland. Hallam, who went from Charlton, he went to Orient, he went to Fulham, and he went to Luton without really making a tremendous impact. And now, within a matter of months of joining Sunderland, Vic Hallam is at Wembley. It's a bright yellow ball. And it's going to be Leeds United who get this 1973 Cup final away, the 50th at Wembley Stadium, or the 50th year that it's been here. Ken Burns checking with his two linesmen. No Geordie team has been beaten at Wembley. That will give Sunderland a little measure of hope as we get underway. Hallam there well before Hunter that time. Hughes to Horswell. And now Porterfield. And now Guthrie. Trying to dummy his way, but Lorimer and Reaney really pushing him out all the time. So the players still taking a little time to get the feel of this pitch. David Harvey, who kept Gary Sprake out of the Cup final side last season. In fact, played in the Cup final replay in 1970. There's Mick Jones. Watson leaping for that one. And Kerr, such a small man, was out-jumped by Eddie Gray. And that time it was Malone going in on the back of Jones. I think possibly the pitch is contributing something to these tackles as well, Jimmy, isn't it?
Yes, it could be, but the early one there by Richie Pitt, there was no doubt about that. He meant to go in and let Clark know that he was going to be close with him all the afternoon.
Kerr now to Hallam. Hallam's got away from Madeley there, all right, and he's got Porterfield down the left. Stewart inside, calling for it from Porterfield. Hallam slips over, and a great shot there by Billy Hughes. Took it well on the run, and was just a couple of yards too high. So Harvey with another goal kick for Leeds. Clark, good header there by Clark. Giles, and played first time by Giles, nicely into the path of Mick Jones. But again, Watson tackling well and tackling fairly, but it's with Clark. Touch off this time for Johnny Giles, and that was charged down. Reaney whacking it in there again. Horsfield losing control. Clark almost with a shot as the red and white striped shirts held themselves at Alan Clark, and Hunter going through the tackle now. And it's little Kerr again setting the right example to his team, but Kerr must have thought that was going over, and the long leg of Norman Hunter just flicked it across. But it's a goal kick. But Kerr again, I think, showing us all why he's the captain of Sunderland, chasing and running and doing more chasing, keeping his men moving. So Jim Montgomery joined Sunderland from school, now 29 years old. Porterfield coming for that one. Again, Hughes has made a burst down the left for him. It's taken the pressure off Stewart, and he couldn't quite find Hughes with it. But that's how Sunderland are fighting for this ball. Billy Hughes. Sunderland's throw. Coming up to a quarter of an hour gone, and absolutely nothing to choose by the inside so far. Guthrie again. Reaney nodding that one away, but only as far as Horsfield. Oh, and that was a fraction wide. There was a deflection after Horsfield had hit it.
Tremendous shot, perhaps the first real chance of the game. It wasn't blocked, that one, and it was just as you see, a yard past that post. He's very accurate from that position, that young man.
Harvey then with a kick. Watson stretching just a little too far. And maybe it would have been much fairer to Leeds United if referee Ken Burns had played the advantage there, because Jones was really on his way. Watson, who's been a striker as well as a central defender, in fact has scored 4 goals in the cup this season for Sunderland. There's Giles though with the free kick. Clark nodding it on. Bremner is right up there once more with Horsfield watching him, but it's Guthrie who gets it away. Hunter's header. And Watson's. And now Madeley. Everybody well inside that Sunderland half now, bar the goalkeeper Harvey. Porterfield, Stewart, and Horsfield struggling to get to that one. He was determined to get it. Stewart to Hallam. And now to Malone. And now to Kerr. Hallam has gone on a run, and Hunter is covering it, and Harvey is out. Giles to Lorimer. Kerr again. Giles. This time it's Trevor Cherry. And again it's little Bobby Kerr. Malone very nearly lost it for Sunderland. Giles. Clark and Guthrie meeting it at the same time, and Guthrie's momentum took it through him. And now it's with Vic Hallam. Well, Horsfield right in the way there, but again, an example certainly of Sunderland enthusiasm, but referee Ken Burns saying that Hallam's feet were a little high. Bremner. Reaney making the break, a beautiful ball inside the full-back, and Guthrie had spotted it. And a foul on Paul Reaney by Ron Guthrie gives Leeds another free kick. It'll be another slanting cross, I'm sure, towards Mick Jones. Porterfield and Guthrie are both there in the two-man Sunderland wall. Bremner with the kick. Too high for Jones, but not for Kerr. Giles spreading it wide again, beautifully. Bremner once more. Again the slanting cross, and again Montgomery is there, this time with his fist. Cherry knocking it back again. Clark, is this the chance? No, it's not, because Watson was there. Porterfield slipping, but Watson saved what surely was a certain goal there, because Clark was lining it up, and when Clark lines it up from that range, that usually means just one thing. Giles now. Hunter. Cherry. Sunderland at the moment a little bit back on their heels. But there's Malone. And he's found Hallam. And there's a good sweeping ball this time for Tuart if he can make it. Hunter to Gray. Giles. Always aware of where men are, and he just looked up in time to see Lorimer and found him so accurately. Lorimer with another Giles-like cross, this time to Eddie Gray, taking on Malone and sweeping past the Sunderland fullback, but it's a goal kick. Few worry lines, I would have thought, on Bob Stokoe's face. The Leeds beginning to spray it around a bit now. In the centre there, the man in the trophy. Montgomery with the kick. Lorimer. A long ball, looking out the speed of Mick Jones, but again Jim Montgomery is there. Horswell. Cherry. To Hunter. Pitt. Yes, Giles in the centre of a sandwich made by Horswell and Hallam. Hughes to Guthrie. Bremner chasing him. Guthrie holding him off. All the power of that running there, and Madeley going in. And in fact, Madeley played that ball, and the whistle has gone. That didn't look a foul to me in any case. Jimmy?
No, I wouldn't have said so, but I think the referee is being careful at this stage of the game. I think Madeley definitely gets the ball here. He's across it, but he does make contact with the ball. But you can see that without any doubt he's winded from that position, because they clashed very strongly there. Not easy for a referee under these conditions to decide what is really dangerous and what isn't, because the players are bound to slip and clash here and there.
But he's given a free kick to Sunderland. Number 10, Ian Porterfield's going to take it. Hallam and Tuart are on the far side. Big Dave Watson's up there too, and that's where it's aimed for. And it's Madeley getting it away, but only as far as Billy Hughes. Clark showing a lot of fight there for the ball and bringing down Hughes. Free kick again. And the referee is reaching for the book, and it looks as though Alan Clark, well, maybe that was a little tough. Clark, who was the victim of a terrible tackle by Pitt in the very first minute of the game, where a name wasn't taken. But now Clark finds his name going into the book with 21 minutes of the game gone. And it's another free kick for Sunderland. Watson, Tuart, Hallam again lying deep. Hughes going to join them. So Harvey tipping that one over. A corner to Sunderland. And Hughes is going to take it. He really is, I'm sure, to the vast relief of the North East, moving a lot more freely now. Oh, Porterfield has scored! And Sunderland, the underdogs, are in the lead. Ian Porterfield The first goal he scored in the Cup this season, and he waits for Wembley to do it.
Well, there it's coming over now, and remember that Porterfield is a left-footed player, a naturally left-footed player. He's got a lot of room there, and it's a right-foot volley, and he keeps it down beautifully. So easy to have slashed it over the bar, but kept down so well.
So that really does open up the 1973 final. Ian Porterfield, a tall Scot that they got from Wraith Rovers, really has become the hero now. A beautifully struck goal, and Leeds now with work to do. Reaney, and put behind by Guthrie. Bob Stokoes showing very little emotion, knows that there may be even more to lose now. But better to be a goal up. Here's Lorimer. Horswell getting that one away. Reaney for Giles. And Tuitt right back there, bravely cutting the ball out before it gets to Lorimer. The long pass, and who's on the end of it? Kerr. Now with Hallam. Strong challenge there between those two red-haired midfield players, Bremner and Horswell. And Bremner being spoken to by the referee. Can't see whether it's a name take. No, it's not a name take. But Bremner very unhappy with the situation at the moment. And Watson, with a Sunderland side that hardly can believe what's happened to them. Towards Hughes, and the cries from behind that Leeds United goal, where the Sunderland supporters are ringing around Wembley. Hunter. Bremner. Leeds, a side of vast experience, but that really would have jolted them. Giles. And Don Revie with a problem or two. And look at them. After all the thin years with so little success that Sunderland have had, how can you deny them an afternoon like this? Horswell getting it away again. Hughes is going after it, but Reaney and Madeley between them. And the atmosphere here at Wembley now is really as it should be on a cup final occasion. Quite electric. Cherry just keeping it in. And Pitt back for Montgomery. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. And so far the unbelievable is happening, that Sunderland, 250 to 1 outsiders when the Cup started away back in January, leading in the final against one of the finest teams in Europe, Leeds United. Porterfield, the man who scored the goal, sending Tuitt down the wing, but Leeds getting the throw. Giles delaying it, and Hallam getting in quickly. Hunter, Lorimer, Giles, Porterfield. The water really splashing up around Ian Porterfield on that touchline. And a goal kick to Sunderland. That's the man who scored it. And incidentally, one more statistic, it's 35 years since a team wearing stripes at Wembley has been beaten. That was Huddersfield in 1938. There are some red and white straps up on those terraces this afternoon. And Clark's feet a little too high, said the referee. Very nearly had a sensation there, though. Hughes, Madeley finding it difficult to turn, and there was obstruction on Billy Hughes by Paul Madeley. So Bobby Kerr again with the free kick for Sunderland. And Hughes almost got to it. Porterfield nodding it back again. Tuitt jumping, but Madeley beating him. Jones right back to help out. Horswell delicately forward again. Chase that one, he says, and that's just what Hallam's doing. Unsettling Hunter on the way. Pitt leaping for it and winning a lot of good balls in the air this afternoon, Richie Pitt. Leeds United's throw. Bremner wanting to get on with it quickly. With Billy Bremner now. And a throw to Sunderland. So there he is, the hero, Ian Porterfield, with another throw for Sunderland. Stewart jumping, but really without too much hope of getting it. Madeley at the simplest of jobs, back to David Harvey. Another good jump by Watson. Off the referee. And it was well for Sunderland that it did, because it fell to Hallam, and now with Horswell. Porterfield. Being snapped up by Bremner, but Bremner slips and then gets it from Giles. Another long ball there again, well cut out by Watson, playing superbly, these two big central defenders for Sunderland, Watson and Pitt. A nice 1-2 there between Stewart and Hughes is away again, and that's a good cross! Sunderland's throw. Horswell in a bit of trouble there by the touchline.
Here's that Hughes again, broken through to the line. You can see the cross beating Harvey's hand, but going too fast and too high for anybody connected. It is very interesting the way Sunderland have developed their tactics in this game, because Kerr, I think, has tied up Eddie Gray. We haven't seen very much of Eddie Gray, and you can see on that line over there that he's denying in space, and Gray's only had flashes in which to get into the game. And it's an interesting battle in the middle of the field between Porterfield and Horswell, who are really looking stronger on this heavy ground, maybe than Giles and Bremner. It's the canny elder players against the younger strong ones, and at the moment it's the young strong ones that I feel are on top. Bremner has become irritated a little bit because he can't get the space he needs to dictate, and there have been 2 or 3 clashes between him and Horswell. But it's a fascinating tactical battle, and the Sunderland are by no means losing it.
Guthrie then with a throw for Sunderland. As Horswell is all right again. Stewart, a little touch off again. Nicely there for Guthrie, but that's a little too hard and a little too high. And we hear from Hampden Park the Rangers have now equalised. Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Remember, Kenny Dalglish had scored for Celtic. Derek Parlane has now equalised for Rangers. And here it's Ian Porterfield's goal that gives Sunderland the 1-0 lead against Leeds United with 5 minutes now to go to half-time. Again, a very good jump by Watson. Horswell to Hughes. But Cherry watched him all the way, put it into touch, and it's a throw again to Sunderland. Trevor Cherry, who came from Huddersfield. Stewart. Oh, what a nice little flick by Stewart. And a little one there by Hughes. You can see how their confidence is growing, and that was a good cross by Kerr, and it's falling for Porterfield again. He touched it off first time, and Horswell a shade too high. But a beautiful example here of how Sunderland, since they've scored that goal and know that they're getting to grips with Leeds United, are beginning to turn it on.
And here's the confidence coming up now. But that final shot, high, wide and handsome.
But really it was the 2 little flicks, but was clattering into him, and so it's another free kick to Sunderland. Billy Hughes, who's shown some beautiful touches this afternoon at Wembley. And now seems really to have recovered completely from that knock that he had earlier on that had him limping. Kerr with the free kick, played strangely there, straight to Harvey. As the whistle goes for half-time. A really sensational first half that saw Sunderland struggling for periods, but scoring the only goal of the first half through Ian Porterfield. Well, as I say, just before half-time, it really looks as though it's beginning to open up. There's Bob Stokoe onto the field now to congratulate Porterfield, and already starting the instructions that will carry on down in that dressing room. A really surprising first half then, and I think that the way things were going, we might well have a magnificent... Welcome back then to Wembley for the second half of this cup final. You join us, just as you can see now, the Leeds United players, I would have thought, a little anxious about the way things have gone and the way things may go. And they are walking out. Sunderland, buoyant and hopeful and confident, as you can see, are running out. Maybe there's a little lesson there as well. At any rate, Jim Montgomery, who'd had a magnificent first half, fisting the ball away, would never risk catching the tricky ball, made one or two very, very good saves indeed for Sunderland to keep their hopes alive. Reminding you then of this extraordinary half-time score, if you listen to forecasters, Leeds United 0, Sunderland 1, Ian Porterfield the scorer. Sunderland will now be defended. There's big Dave Watson on the left. What a tremendous game he'd had, as you heard Johan Cruyff say, that it's Watson who has been absolutely magnificent in defence, along with Richie Pitt. Jimmy, a word from you.
Well, I feel among the general opinion of the panel that Bob Stoker has won the tactical battle of the first half, in that the two central defenders have really locked out Clark and Jones and played exceptionally well. Kerr on the right, the skipper, by dropping back, has stifled out Gray, and even Montgomery has adopted the right tactics for the day. When he's been under pressure, he's punched rather than caught. Simple, logical football, common sense, but that's the way Sunderland have played it, and they've reaped the reward they've got of one goal. But here comes the second half.
Norman Hunter again. That'll go for Porterfield. Horswell up there. Porterfield. Across again towards Hallam. And now it's with Eddie Gray. Cherry took a knock there in that goal mouth, jumping for it with Hallam and Harvey. Clark letting that one run, and Malone didn't really make a sufficient contact, but there's Watson again, and at the moment there seems no way past this big man. Malone for Sunderland. Stewart. And now it's with Hughes. And Bremner there, but it goes straight to Hughes again, and now he does get it through to Stewart. And now it's with Horswell, and over on the right, completely unmarked, is Kerr, but Horswell decided to go it his own way. Didn't really catch it. The youngster there, Mickey Horswell, having his first full season for Sunderland. Jones. Pitt. Porterfield. And he's got past Bremner. But he's got to come back because there's a foul given against Billy Bremner. Several of these Sunderland players showing a lot of skill in the way that they're skipping past the challenges of Leeds United defenders. But very often frightened First Division players, but Hughes has certainly done it once or twice, Kerr has done it once or twice, and Porterfield here has certainly skipped past Billy Bremner then. Watson, that magnificent defender, with a magnificent free kick. And now Hughes, will he do something with this one? Oh, Stewart let one go there. Porterfield again, that time with the left foot. Guthrie lining one up. And it just went into the side netting when half the crowd at Wembley thought it was number 2.
What a moment from behind the goal. Look at that. One shot after the other. And finally, there it is, just into the side netting.
So it's still 1-0 to Sunderland. And now Leeds are coming for them again with Peter Lorimer. And now with Bremner with a lot of space now, with a chance for a shot, brought down, no penalty given. The referee won't even listen and look. Decided that Bremner made far too much of it. Porterfield challenging hard there with Giles. There's so much spirit in this Sunderland side. Horswell going in hard, and Cherry turning it back to Harvey. And now Celtic have got level at 2-2 with a penalty from Connolly, Scotland's Player of the Year. So they're having a tremendous amount of action up at Hampden Park. We're having a great cup final here at Wembley with the underdog Sunderland still leading by 1-0. And the referee going across now to have a word with Rini for that challenge, but no more than a word. With 12 minutes of the second half gone. And I would think now that although the Leeds fans were prepared to allow Sunderland that goal in the first half, I would have thought now they're beginning to worry just a little bit, because time is creeping on and there's very little evidence at the moment of Leeds United getting an equaliser. And there's almost another chance here for Sunderland. Here's Horswell, and that one is wide as well, and the shooting at the moment is coming not from Leeds but from Sunderland. Leeds powering forward again though with Norman Hunter, but so many reserves to call on in terms of experience. Bremner, a good ball there to Rini, and it really would still need just one mistake in that Sunderland defence to open it up again. Here's Bremner. Giles, Sunderland really living on a knife edge now, and there's the fists once more of Jim Montgomery, getting it away to Horswell. His punching has been superb, Jimmy.
Yes, it's a sensible thing to do under the circumstances, because those Leeds strikers go in hard under those circumstances. It only needs one drop and it can be a tap-in goal.
Throw to Leeds United. Billy Bremner taking it. Just over half an hour to go. And a goal kick. And Don Revie will know, as well as you know, that there is about a half an hour left. You can be sure that he's been looking at his watch every half minute. The Leeds substitutes and reserves, and the Sunderland bench, and can that miracle man in the middle there, Bob Stokoe, pull off another miracle? Hallam, Pitt, and Hughes is herring after this one. Madeley can only nod it down to Guthrie, and it's wide. But still the shooting is coming from Sunderland. Giles, well, that went straight to Hallam, but Hallam, well, his strength kept that one for him against Norman Hunter. It's with Mickey Horswell. And now with Hughes. Sunderland's throw. Hallam right in there waiting for any sort of cross or any sort of chance that might come. Tuart tussling with Madeley. Another throw to Sunderland, and once more it's Ian Porterfield. Madeley getting it away, but only as far as Guthrie, and that's a shot, and it's again just wide. And Leeds clearly are worried now by Sunderland. Their substitute, Terry Yorath.
There it comes up now again. One more shot, and one more just a yard or two wide of that post.
As I was saying, the substitute Terry Yorath for Leeds beginning to warm up on the far side. Hughes and Porterfield, and he's gone past Madeley, but Hunter there for Leeds. Guthrie. Exactly half an hour left now. Giles to Madeley. That's the score then. Porterfield the scorer in the first half for Sunderland. And now Hughes. Guthrie. Oh, and that's a difficult back pass there. Jones was going in. But in fact a goal kick is given. And that back pass, I think it was from Guthrie, could easily have been intercepted by this fellow, Mick Jones. Interesting point, in fact, that Jimmy Hill's just made, that Yorath has now gone to sit down again with the substitutes. It might have just been a psychological G-up for the rest of the Leeds United players to let them know that maybe Yorath will come on and one of them will have to go off. Watson again winning a good ball in the air and then hoofing it away, right-footed there towards Billy Hughes. Madeley. Hunter. Giles. Madeley again. Long stride of his. Lorimer hit first time into the side netting, no goal. That's a couple or three times that Madeley has come looking forward. In the first half he did it, and good accurate passing.
And it catches them out again here. One through ball on the run, a first-time shot from Lorimer into that side netting. But this is one way in which Leeds can bring themselves back into the game, by putting more pressure on, by extra men coming up from behind.
This afternoon. So a corner then, Peter Lorimer taking it for Leeds, and they are really piling almost every available white shirt forward now. Sunderland under the hammer. And they get a goal kick. Sunderland leading Leeds United by a goal to nil, and 18 minutes to go. And that's the man who scored it. Sure, everybody watching us in Yorkshire today are saying surely Leeds United, with all this pressure, are going to get an equaliser in these 18 minutes or so that remain, and I'm sure the rest of the country are asking itself, can Sunderland possibly hang on?
Well, I think it is possible they'll get an equaliser and the match can go to extra time, because that Terry Yorath running up and down the line seems to have stiffened the fight in the middle of the Leeds team, and they really have got to grips with it and are winning challenges.
So Madeley, who in fact has had his shoe off for something like 2 or 3 minutes now, and can't afford the time to get it on. Now with his stocking boot he stops it, and with the other one, or with his stocking foot he stops it, and with the other one he turns it back to David Harvey. Oh, obviously there's something wrong with the boot as Les Cocker's down there. Cherry being harassed and hustled by Horswell, and finally beaten by Horswell, but Hallam lacks just that little bit of pace at the moment, it seems. He's got his socks around his ankles. That's a sign that he is feeling the pace of Wembley. And the whistle is gone. And Hallam, I think it's a touch of cramp. Well, at least Madeley is properly shod now. And Hallam doesn't get the trainer, or at least doesn't need the trainer. But I'm just wondering whether Sunderland's hearts are big enough to withstand this pressure from Leeds United for another quarter of an hour or so. Terry Yorath is now down on the touchline, the substitute who will be coming on in a moment. Giles dinking it back again, and again the amazing Watson is there. Good ball there to Eddie Gray. It's with Reaney, with Gray again, and another good ball by Eddie Gray, and Tuart was across there. All his attacking is forgotten for the moment, because he did a good defensive job there for Sunderland. And Terry Yorath, the Welsh international, coming on. Studs inspected by the linesman, Mr. Morrissey from Cheshire. And Eddie Gray, who's had a very disappointing match for Leeds United, is the man who goes off. Yorath, a very fiery Welshman, really in the Billy Bremner mould, really. And that's a goal kick.
Don Revie really knew, I think, that he'd got to do something about strengthening that middle of the field. And Eddie Gray, a passenger is an unkind word, but on the other hand, he really hasn't been effective in this game. And he's put another man, a strong tackler, a fit young man, in the middle of the field to try and win that battle. And if they win it, they'll get the goal. So it's really stretching Sunderland now to last out for the 90 minutes.
And of those 90 minutes, there are now 14 left. Hallam is offside. Hallam going back with the ball. Hunter snatching it from him, making sure that the momentum is kept up for Leeds United. Think about now, the Sunderland legs are really beginning to complain. Yorath, his legs won't, fresh onto this Wembley field. Giles, who will go out searching for the openings all the while. And there's Cherry going in, and Montgomery down again very well. Bit of barging going on between Tuart and Madeley. Madeley is said to be the guilty one. Sunderland get the free kick. Watson is going to take the free kick. He cost Sunderland £100,000 from Rotherham, and he was with Notts County before then. That's £100,000 so well spent on the evidence of this one game alone. He's been magnificent. Not so much with that free kick, though. Nodded away by Hunter. Kerr's going to take it. Cleaning the ball on the inside of his shirt. And a throw that finds Tuart. Oh, he dummied Hunter well there, and Madeley cutting it out, though. There's Yorath. Reaney. Cross towards Mick Jones. And there's Cherry again. Several times he's made those dangerous-looking bursts and has taken up good positions on the corner of that Sunderland penalty area. Putting 2 or 3 good headers and a couple of good shots as well. But now it's a throw with Trevor Cherry taking it. Malone beating Bremner. And now Hughes being chased by Billy Bremner. Tuart won't get to that one, and Madeley the easiest job in the world turning it back. 12 minutes now to go. Sunderland now just 12 minutes away from one of the biggest upsets of all in an FA Cup final. What a good ball there to Terry Yorath, though, for Leeds United. And again Montgomery there, snatching that ball, but it might well have crept inside the far post. Malone.
Just a moment to say a word about Paul Madeley. He's played very well in the back of that defence there, and 3 or 4 times he's burst up the field and initiated attacks. He's been coolness itself, and that last ball across there to Yorath was a real dream.
Giles now for Leeds. To Norman Hunter. And now to Paul Reaney. And again that white wave of Leeds United players begins to launch itself towards that Sunderland penalty area. There's a beautiful ball from Johnny Giles, if Hunter can keep it in, and he can. Horsfield is the man who is challenging him, and now it's with Billy Bremner. Everybody up now for Leeds United, including Yorath and including Madeley. Lovely little ball forward, chip forward again, that could be very dangerous by Madeley. Malone getting ahead to it, and now Porterfield. And look how Bremner is chasing everywhere. Kerr. So now we stand with exactly 10 minutes to go. Sunderland leading by 1-0. And now it's with Tuart. 1 goal now for these red and white stripes, and that really would settle it. Hallam. Horsfield. And that cannoned off a Leeds United player, so it's a corner. Mickey Horsfield. Harvey exchanges a word with Reaney, and it's bound to be a worried word, because we're in the last 10 minutes. Big David Watson's up there again for Sunderland. Here comes the corner from Bobby Kerr. Guthrie is in there too, but they were beaten by Hunter. Horsfield. Kerr. And that cannoned off a Leeds United player, so it's a corner. Mickey Horsfield. Harvey exchanges a word with Reaney, and it's bound to be a worried word, because we're in the last 10 minutes. Big David Watson's up there again for Sunderland. Here comes the corner from Bobby Kerr. Guthrie is in there too, but they were beaten by Hunter. Horsfield. Straight at Yorath, and now it's with Lorimer. Pitt's header. Ball goes straight to Lorimer, and now to Giles. And now Leeds are piling men forward again. It's with Jones. Pitt trying to challenge him, but without quite the snap that he had earlier on in the game. But there's Hallam taking it off Cherry, and Horswell slipping it for Hughes. Horswell, he too seems to be running a little bit out of steam, the young number 4. Kerr again, and that's going to put Harvey under pressure. And no, it's not given. It's a foul by Hallam on Harvey. He has now played nearly 2 minutes of injury time, and again the bench is urging everybody to go back, and Sunderland have done it. Stokoe can't believe it, but Sunderland from the 2nd division. Where's he going? Bob Stokoe to Jimmy Montgomery, the goalkeeper who's punching and saving, saved the day for Sunderland. The most surprising result that Wembley has probably seen in its 50 years of FA Cup finals. Porterfield, the man who scored it, and Watson, the man who stopped Leeds United from getting an equaliser. The unbelievable has happened at Wembley, and Bobby Kerr being held by Bob Stokoe. Kerr, who ran and found energy to run some more. A tremendous result this for Sunderland, and with due deference to Leeds United, a tremendous result for football as well. Well, Horswell has given all he can give, and he is on the point of exhaustion. Bob Stokoe, the miracle man, who came when Sunderland was struggling near the bottom of the 2nd division only 6 months ago, has lifted everyone in the North East and lifted the FA Cup with it. Bob Stokoe smiling away, but crying as well, I'm sure. And so it'll be Sunderland from the 2nd division who go up to receive the FA Cup. Bobby Kerr, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least if he ran up the stairs. And for Sunderland, the celebrations are only just beginning. Shot. Norman Hunter wants to be on his own, I'm sure. The moment of sadness, Don Revie getting his team away without the lap of honour. So Sunderland winners of the FA Cup, and it means that not only that they bring European football to Roker Park next season. So the fun and the excitement for Sunderland really has only just begun. a shattered man. A lot of things to put together now. But Arthur Cox, the trainer, and Bob Stoker, who really gets the freedom of Wearside now. Stoker quite rightly joining in that lap of honour with his players. That's what you call a tracksuit manager. And they came down in their thousands from the northeast. They came down with hope, and they go back with the cup. There is that fantastic score. Leeds United 0, Sunderland 1. And that is the message. 1973 Cup final winners, Sunderland. Sunderland players, Watson, Montgomery and Malone, doing their own private lap of honour. And they find they can't run anymore, but that's a great shot. Bobby Kerr waiting for the cup to arrive. They won it in 1937. Reverse those last two figures, and they've won it again in 1973. Captain that they parade around, but today it's the manager Bob Stoker. There have been times when Bob Stoker's found it hard to keep a job in football, but I would have thought he's got a job for life now.